apologize in advance for the accents. It was when they found my client's husband floating face down on the racecourse that I knew my missing persons case was closed. The body had been savaged by a pack of wild swans, which gave the cops some problems with the identification. Normally they would try and match dental records, but that didn't work in this case, on account of my subject, Mr. Jimmy Pork Rolls Ronkswood, never having been known to visit a dentist. Luckily, the 3/4 life-size tattoo of a Gloucester old spot on his back was still intact, so the fuzz knew it was our boy, and they tipped me off accordingly. The late Jimmy Pork Rolls controlled the whole hot pork roll racket from here to the Vale of Evesham. As hot pork rolls made up the staple diet of the local population, and also made up 100% of Jimmy's diet, he was a pretty big guy in every sense to end up as swan food. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. My name is Spode, Sam Spode, private investigator. I used to work out of the Potteries, but I had a few difficulties down there. It was all a storm in a teacup, really. But I thought it best to relocate, so I came here, to Worcester, or the Big Pear, as it's known. I was hired by Jimmy's wife, Celine, after he didn't come home from a night out in the city. I explained that it was by no means unusual for a woman's husband to find some late-night companionship in the less salubrious parts of town. Not for nothing was Worcester known as the unfaithful city. Perhaps Jimmy was auditioning Mrs. Porkrolls Mark II. Not my Jimmy, she said, her platinum blonde hair shimmering as she shook her head. He'd never leave me. I agree that any man will be a sap to walk out on a dame like the lovely Mrs. Porkrolls. You don't understand, she replied. Jimmy was convicted of tax fraud 3 years ago. He had to sign everything over to me. The shops, the vans, the warehouse full of Paxo. It's all mine. Without me, he's got nothing. She gave me a smile as sweet as applesauce and as hard as pork crackling. Right then, I was in no doubt that wherever Jimmy had got to, he hadn't gone there willingly. Well, now I knew where Jimmy had ended up, and I called on Celine at home to break the bad news. I'm sorry, Mrs. Ronkswood, I said, but Jimmy's had his last one with stuffing. She took it pretty well. It's not the first husband I've lost, Sam. And please, call me Celine. Just as she was getting to the eyelash fluttering stage, the door burst open, and a pair of ugly goons marched in, accompanied by the sweet smell of marinating anchovies and molasses. It was Lee and Perrin Worcester, the Sauce Brothers. They are not the kind of guys you want at making a house call, unless you were having a fancy dress party and the theme was knuckle-dragging thugs. What are you two doing here, I asked. Come to give your condolences to the widow? Something like that, Spode, said Lee. Yeah, that's right. We came to condolify, said Perrin, who was not blessed with the brains of the family. Yeah, we're real sorry about what happened to Jimmy, said Lee. Yeah, said Perrin. Sorry we drowned him in a barrel of Worcester sauce and then dumped the body on the racecourse. The two brothers broke up in a kind of moronic laughter, which gave me the opportunity to clock Perrin on his thick jaw and take his piece off him. I pointed at his brother. Okay, wise guy, throw that revolver down on the floor and kick it away from you. He did as he was told. Hey, he said, no hard feelings. It was just business. Jimmy was trying to buy out our sauce factory, and he wouldn't listen to reason. So you gave him all the sauce he would ever need? Yeah, that's right, Spode. Just protecting what's ours. You understand. I understand, all right. It was Celine. She picked up Lee's gun and was pointing it right at the Worcester brothers. You have to protect what's yours. Celine, I said, don't be hasty. Oh, I'm never hasty, Sam. Now, if you just give me that gun and join Tweedledum and Tweedledee up against the wall there. I handed over the heater, but I wasn't happy about it. What is this, Celine? It's just business. Jimmy was trying to buy out the Worcesters, but they was too stupid to take the deal. But with them out of the way, that sauce factory's all mine. Don't tell me, I said. You're going to make it look like a shootout between me and them.
You tragically lost your life protecting me, Sam. You'll be glad to know you died a hero.
Damn it, Celine, why? Why all this trouble for some lousy sauce factory? Even looking down the barrel of a gun, the Worcester brothers still couldn't bear to hear criticism of their beloved sauce plant.
Hey, you bum, said Lee. Don't you call our factory lousy?
Yeah, Perrin chimed in, rubbing his sore jaw. Don't respectify this operation.
Oh, can it, you idiots, said Celine. I don't want your damn sauce factory. Before I was a Rongswood, I was part of the oldest condiment family there is. I'm a mustard girl at heart.
Slowly I was putting it together. Wait a minute, I said. You're that Celine?
I always knew you were smart, Sam. That's right. I'm Celine Dijon. Once I've got these idiots out of the picture, I'm going to sell that sauce factory and set up a mustard plant right here in town.
Hey, said Lee. She can't sell our factory.
Oh, I can, said Celine. I've already had an offer from the Kidderminster Ketchup Company.
No! Perrin howled as he threw himself at Celine. The gun went off, but he kept going, and he knocked her cold. In the struggle, I managed to get my hands on both guns, and I let off a few into the ceiling to show off. Even in a city as low as this, a little gunplay can be relied on to bring the cops. And pretty soon, we were all doing some explaining downtown. Well, the brothers were never going to beat the rap for rubbing out Jimmy pork rolls. They weren't really the sort to talk the way out of anything. And we all testified that Celine was ready to blow our heads off. It turned out she was already wanted for the brutal bludgeoning to death of her previous husband, a noted academic from Pershore in their country house. She was charged with the murder of Professor Plum in the dining room. And I wound down that evening, drinking whiskey and watching my favorite movie, L.A. Condimental, looking through my backlog of unsolved cases. It was mostly a heap of nothing, but one did catch my eye. Some guy was looking for a missing object known as the Malvern Falcon. Could be worth looking into, I thought, but not until tomorrow.
Yay!